So VAST was founded by our founder, Jed McCaleb, in 2021. And we believe in a future where we have more people living in space than living on Earth. Now, we're also a realistic company. We have to build a business so that we are around to build that future that might take a decade or two. And so our number one goal this decade is to replace the International Space Station that's right up there. We also need to unlock artificial gravity that you might have seen in Space Station, and basically find out whether when we have a third of a G or Mars gravity or moon gravity, we can stay in space indefinitely. Picking up a microphone. So who wants to speak or hear about building an exciting future where people live in space? There we go. All right, let's go. And my friend there, we're going to do this sign to move the slides, like an air slide. So I'm Max Haot. I'm the CEO at VAST, and we are a company based in Long Beach. And our focus is to build next generation space station. So VAST was founded by our founder, Jed McCaleb, in 2021. And Jed decided to invest a significant portion of his net worth, he's a software and crypto entrepreneur, in contributing to space exploration and making sure that we can have people living in space. We believe in a future where we have more people living in space than living on Earth, and also a future where Earth is obviously thriving and doing great. One of the unique things about VAST is that we fully funded through our first crude flight in launching of our first space station, and I'll show you more about that detail. So, next slide. So, VAST goal is to, there's a missing slide, is to build an artificial gravity space station that leverages the new SpaceX rocket from Starship and create a 105-meter long space station by 7-meter diameter, much bigger than the current International Space Station, and rotate it at 4 rotations per minute so that you have 1 G gravity on either end and microgravity in the middle. And the reason that's important is that right now, if you send an astronaut to space, within 6 months or a year, a really fit professional astronaut that exercises 2 hours a day will come back with bone loss, muscle loss, and will take months to recover. So if we are going to live in space, we need to go on planets, but we also need to unlock artificial gravity that you might have seen in Space Station, and basically find out whether when we have a third of a G or Mars gravity or moon gravity, we can stay in space indefinitely. And that's the long-term vision, long-term goal of VAST. Now, we're also a realistic company. We have to build a business so that we are around to build that future that might take a decade or two. And so our number one goal this decade is to replace the International Space Station that's right up there. Basically, it has to be retired in 2030, and NASA is a competition that they will award in 2026, a multi-billion-dollar contract to the company that they believe can build a replacement to the ISS, which is a microgravity laboratory in space. Let's go to the next slide. Next slide. That's what I was talking about, different order. So NASA is actually already working with a few companies that they selected 3 years ago. And we only decided a year ago to go after this contract and to try to win it. And so our answer was, okay, we're late, we are the underdog, what can we do? And what we decided to do is to actually build a space station, launch it on orbit at the end of next year, and then have a SpaceX Crew Dragon with 4 people, dock with it, have the crew spend 2 weeks on it, and then come back home safely. And so our thesis is that if we do all of that before mid-26, when NASA and the US government will select the winner, we'll be the clear choice because none of our competitors will have actually built a space station and had a crew come back from it and spend time on it. So this is our roadmap. We're starting actually with a satellite in April. We are then launching Haven 1, the world's first commercial space station, before the end of next year. And then we have plans for Haven 2, which is what will replace the International Space Station. So Haven 1 is really a demonstration to NASA, and then long-term plan beyond 2035 for the artificial gravity space station. So when we can keep moving with the slide. So Haven 1 is basically a single launch, single module space station. It integrates with the SpaceX Crew Dragon, And when they are connected, you get 6 times more space than you would have on a Crew Dragon. You get a window, you get a sleeping quarter, you get a laboratory for doing important science and research, and it's also designed for commercial activity. We'll also have awesome internet. We're the first company to have a deal with SpaceX to have Starlink lasers on board so that our customers and our payload will have Wi-Fi and gigabit connectivity while up there. So let's slide through a few of the... so a week ago, we revealed the interior. So you can see there's a corridor, 4 sleeping berth, and then a common area for the crew, a deployable table to have lunch, and then all the payload rack, which is where they perform the science. And it's very important. We're not building a hotel in space. We actually have designed it with our advisor, Peter Russell-Clark, which is an ex-Apple designer. But we've designed it so that the crew can perform better their job. So we don't have an interest to fly tourists or to build an hotel, but we believe that design can increase crew cohesion and productivity. So we can run it quickly through some of the design slides. So we have a window, 1.1 meter window. And one of the key area, and you can go through each slide, one of the key aspects is that this is not some sort of agency imagination. This is actually from our engineering team. This is what we are actually building, the actual material, the actual layout. This is our sleep, patent pending inflatable system. So this will be built and launched on orbit at the end of next year. Very important to exercise in space. And the whole purpose of a space station is to perform important science and research. So we have payload facilities with a range of partners. So as I mentioned, we are designing it for science and research. So the number one customers we are negotiating with and hope to announce soon are actually to bring international government agencies and their professional astronauts. We also are negotiating with private astronauts, but it's very important for us that they are not tourists, but people that are interested to go to space, investing their own money, but to further the state-of-the-art of space exploration and to make life better on Earth. And then we also have customers that are just providing payload. To do all of this, we obviously need a partnership with SpaceX. SpaceX is the only crewed vehicle where you can send people to space. So the only way we can, if we build a space station and launch it without the crew, the only way we can have people go there and come back right now is using the Crew Dragon spacecraft. And so we have a contract with SpaceX to first launch the module without the crew and then send the first 4 crew that we are training with SpaceX to the space station. And as I mentioned, also the Starlink internet contract. Now, our customers, we are providing the full experience. So it bundles the space station. So a typical mission is 2 weeks on Haven 1. But we also bundle the full SpaceX process because they need to be trained to use Dragon. They need to obviously lift off on a Dragon, on a Falcon 9 rocket, go to space, and then spend 2 weeks on the station and then come back home safely with parachutes. And so we're selling that full experience to our first 4 customers in negotiation now. We can skip that slide quickly, keeping the pace. Haven 1, as a demonstration, is actually a 3-year space station. You could think of it as a disposable space station. So it will be on orbit for 3 years, and during that time, we will have 4 2-week expeditions, so 10-day with a little bit of transfer in before. And so that will be between 2026 and 2028. So to build a space station in a record time, if you look at what we are doing it 5 times faster and 5 times cheaper than any other space station has ever been built. There is no commercial space station that have ever been created. All prior ones have been built by government program. And so most of it, the primary structure, a lot of the systems inside is all built in-house by VAST. And that's really the way to keep it low cost and also the way to keep it fast. And then we have a few partners that are providing different components. So I'll show you quickly a video of what we're up to down in Long Beach, and if we can have some music with it. Yes. So our team in about a year has gone from 200 people to 610, and we are adding 10 people every week. So to make a space station, you need obviously a primary structure to hold it all together. You need software, you need avionics and electronics, and you need a lot of life support system and valves and propulsion. And it's incredible the number of discipline, the number of systems you need, most of which you cannot buy because they are custom designed for space station, like a hatch. Some of which you can buy, like we have a partner making our solar panel. And then you have to create a team of about 1,000 people and make them work all together at an incredible pace and while staying safe. So right now we are, this is all going on in Long Beach, and each little team is basically building one of the subsystems, and then we are assembling it together early next year. All right, next slide. Oh, thank you. You probably all thought we were just dreaming this stuff, but we are building it. Next, our number one goal is to actually win the opportunity to replace the ISS. And we have basically announced last week the design that will replace the ISS if we win the competition. So we're not building that right now. We have to win it in 2026. But we are offering a new space station that's more capable than the ISS, yet extremely more affordable, and also will be on orbit with the first module in 2028. So we can go to the next slide for the video. And so if you look at this module, this looks vaguely similar to Haven 1. And the reason is that we are basically making an upgraded version. Instead of one docking port, we have two docking ports. It's 5 meters longer, so we can launch it on a Falcon Heavy. It has 10 tons more mass, about double the mass, double the usable space inside. It has the Starlink laser. But because it's very much based on the Haven 1 design, which by then we will have built and launched on orbit and at a crew go, we are very confident that we can convince NASA, and obviously we are convinced that it can be in space operational, the first module in 2028. And that's very important because the ISS is due to be retired in 2030. And we definitely don't want a gap in our capability as the United States to be able to send people to space. We need an overlap. We need to have a new space station 2 years before we retire the International Space Station in 2030. So this is our proposed 9-module space station that will be obviously more capable than the ISS and that any of the other government proposed space station, including China. And then the full build will take between 2028 and 2032, where it will be completed with 9 modules, including an unprecedented window, payload facilities, the ability to send people out, an astronaut with an EVA, as well as many external payload facilities. So this is a 3.8 meter diameter window. You might have seen the window on the ISS. It's about 1 meter. It's a lot smaller than you think. And so this will be an unprecedented window size. These are external payload where you can have science, not just inside, but also outside, exposed to the vacuum of space. We can go to the next slide. Last few minutes. So this is our facility. We have different facilities. Next slide. This is our team. There was about 40 people in early 2023. So we're growing very quickly. And as I mentioned, 10 more people every week. And then the best part about our team is you need incredible experience to do something that's never been done before, to build this space station 5 times cheaper and faster. So we have about 447 years of experience in our team in crude spaceflight spacecraft, and more than 2,000, nearly 2,100 satellite-type mission and years of experience in our team if you aggregate all our team members' experience. We have an incredible leadership. Many people have spent a big portion of their career at SpaceX and NASA. This is our technical leadership at VAST. Many advisors, including Hans Koenigsmann, which is the second employee at SpaceX. And then no one should be building a space station without having people that have gone to space to help them design, engineer, and make sure they are safe. So we work with Drew Fjordsdale and Garrett Reisman, both EV and NASA astronaut, every day to build a space station. So that's it for VAST. Thanks for listening, and thank you for having us.